Should we be buying this dip? I've been involved in the crypto market for several years, and that is the question everyone asks. Should we load up on this dip? With the whole FTX drama going on right now, the question is how much more downside pain are we going to have, and can you endure that when you load up on these dips? In this video, I'm going to cover where I see Bitcoin going next over the next 17 months, and how you can obviously dollar cost average your way to capitalize on that whole move. Stay tuned in this video. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Before I start this video, go ahead and click the link in the description below. Join my Discord. I have added a crypto section where I'm going to be doing crypto news and how I'm going to be capitalizing on this next dump that we've seen in the crypto market. So click the link. There'll be more information to unlock the full channel and, more importantly, getting access to the live sessions where we all jump on every single morning live session and run through what the hell is going on. Right, my first point of concern is, according to CoinMarketCap, there is over 21,700 different cryptos. Do we think they're all going to survive? Probably not. You've got to be real with yourself. Every person with a few 100,000 of a random crypto token thinks they're going to get rich. That's not how it's going to work. If you were a person of power and an elite, so to speak, would you allow that? No. So something we do need to factor in over the next 3 to 5 years, there's going to be a lot of crypto regulation coming into wrap with the talks of CBDCs coming into power. CBDCs are central bank digital currencies, which are going to give the banks and the governments a lot more power of your money. So think about that. Think about why you actually want to get into crypto before buying a random crypto hoping to get rich. This is not how it works. This is not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to be real, share my views. But without further ado, Bitcoin, the index, in my opinion, as Bitcoin is the main dominant sort of leader of the crypto market due to its dominance, we're going to hop on the charts and run through Bitcoin, where I see it going, where I'm buying, and how I'm going to hold. Stay tuned in this video. Cool. Bitcoin. Where is it? Where can it go? And how I'm going to capitalize on this going forward. So 2 weekly time frames. You can see over there on the top. I have these red lines, and I just want to explain what they are. Now, these red lines are when we have the Bitcoin halving every 4 years. Now, you know, this market hasn't been around forever, so we have to use the history that we have to our best advantage. Bitcoin has never seen a recession, right? That's my only sort of concern heading into the recession that we have right now. So I do feel we are going to have a lot lower pricing. In general, that's going to bring the whole market down. So in theory, looking at the sort of cycles that we have, every 4 years, we have that halving. We are currently, I would say, 3/4 through this current cycle and 1/4, I would say, left of that cycle. So you still got about over a year till the next Bitcoin halving. The next Bitcoin halving is in March 2024, as you guys can see over here on the bottom. April, March 2024, not next year, 2024, when the next halving is scheduled to be. And that is exactly, let's go ahead and measure that. From where we are right now, that is 476 days. So 17 months. 17 months until the next halving. Now, in theory, we know nothing's ever picture perfect. Nothing is ever as it seems. Even salt looks like sugar. Remind yourself of that. So don't just buy a crypto thinking you're going to become rich all of a sudden. This is not how it's going to work. You're going to get humbled very, very quickly. So looking at the sort of last cycle that we had, let's refresh this page. There we go. Cool. Looking at the last cycle that we had, the halving was in June 2016, and we had that bull run. Bitcoin ran all the way to about 19.5, right? We had that correction over the sort of period throughout that 4 years. It's boom and bust. It's greed, right? You heard of people remortgaging their houses at the high. And you heard of people obviously going homeless and losing everything when Bitcoin crashed. It's the cycles. When people are greedy, you got to be fearful. When people are fearful, you got to be greedy. Shout out Warren Buffett for that one. Now, what are these green lines? These green lines are 500 days after the halving, which according to these cycles is every time Bitcoin is peaked. So 500 days after the halving, let's go ahead and measure that, right? 532 days after the halving, Bitcoin peaked. After this most recent halving, 546 days and Bitcoin peaked. So you want to use that to your advantage. All this is telling you is you want to take advantage of that initial rush, right? And it's not an initial rush. It's still 500 days, right? So what does this tell me? In theory, just using theory and using past price action and using history to my advantage, if Bitcoin is cyclical, as we know it is, and if you zoom out, Bitcoin's still bullish, right? I know we've obviously had this massive crash, but let's just use the past cycle to our reference, right? The last cycle that we had, Bitcoin fell from the high. It fell 84%, right? We know this. This isn't, it's not the first time that this is happening to us. Looking at where we are right now, from the high to the low, Bitcoin's only fallen 75. I still expect it to go back to 10K. Why does that make sense? It's a 80% correction, over 80% correction, right? Add the recession fears on top. Add the global growth concerns on top. Add, you got the Federal Reserve and all central banks aggressively raising interest rates. Throughout the year of 2022, over 240 interest rates have been adjusted in central banks across the world. 240. Crazy, right? So when you think how that's going to affect risk assets, I personally still think Bitcoin has some room to the downside, right? I'm not buying the dip just yet. But looking at this, we can see Bitcoin fell 84% in the past. We've fallen roughly 74 right now. Should we expect another move to the downside back to around the 10K mark? With everything going on with FTX right now, there's going to be a lot of companies that were tied to FTX. There's going to be a lot of companies that had FTX exposure. We just had a hack on FTX today, which apparently took, I think, like 400 million customers' accounts were left with a zero balance. So definitely crazy times in the crypto market right now. So all this tells me is if I want to use the cyclical nature of Bitcoin to my advantage, and I know the next halving will come into place in March 2024. That is, as I just measured, 17 months from where we are right now. So 490 days, right? Less than what you'll be from the halving to the peak. So we want to use that to our advantage. Just tell yourself that, you know what, if I've missed the previous runs, this is not a case of, should I go ahead and throw all the money that I have now, telling myself that, you know what, we'll be at 100K in the next 5 years. That's not the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video is to remind yourself that, yes, there is still downside to come. But what you should be doing is loading up as you go. In a hypothetical example, let's just say you have a job, right? Instead of just putting your money in a traditional savings account, what are you going to get, right? 2% a year, if even. Most banks don't even give you that, right? So obviously, as interest rates are rising, you are going to get a bit more of a yield on your money, so it's not all bad. But if you are slightly more adventurous and you are looking for that bigger yield, it's all about what you're going to do with the money as well, right? I've been there, I've done it, I got the t-shirt, I've learned mistakes over the years. It's not about how much money you make, it's about how much you keep. So being involved in such markets and such volatile markets, no one knows what's going to happen in 20 years. We could be sitting down with our kids one day in the future and saying we were a part of the biggest Ponzi scheme in the world. Everything could come crashing down. Are you prepared for that? If yes, carry on. Are you prepared to invest a portion of what you have for a greater return? It's a risk you got to take on the table right now. Yes or no? If you're not and it's not for you, steer clear. Stop watching this right now. But understand the risks that are involved with this. I think it's too great of an opportunity to miss as well. So whether you're buying £100 a month, whether you're buying, £50 a month, dollar cost average your way in. It doesn't have to be in the thousands, right? Because you could lose it still too. So you want to keep that in mind. Now, for me, what I'm going to be doing is I'm looking for Bitcoin to come back into around the 10K mark. Then I'll look at my altcoins. Altcoins and the likes of XRP, right? Avalanche. I'm a bit worried about Solana. I do feel that they had a bit of exposure to FTX. So yeah, Solana back at $18 on Solana. It's not great. I don't know why my candlesticks are doing that. But Solana back at 18 is not great. But looking at the likes of Avalanche, I do think Avalanche is a good project. I do believe in Avalanche. I do like where it is. Looking at the likes of, even as funny as it is, right? As funny as it is, Dogecoin. No idea what's happening on TradingView. But even Dogecoin, right? Elon's back in this. Have you ever, just for a fun experiment, tried to send, you know, let's say trying to send Ethereum and try and send Dogecoin to someone? Dogecoin is actually easy for transactional purposes. So I get where he comes with his whole use Dogecoin as a currency. Kind of makes sense. So shout out to him. I mean, whatever he pushes, because of his influence, goes. The minute he took over Twitter, there was rumors that you would be able to pay and send money via wallets on Twitter using Doge. And Doge obviously rallied more than 100% in like 2 days. So crazy, crazy times. But back to Bitcoin, back to reality. I do think you want to remind yourself of the risks at hand. You do want to remind yourself that, you know, should you start dollar cost averaging your way in now, there is still exposure of 40% to the downside. Even more. You could lose everything, right? I'm not here to say this is guaranteed. This is not financial advice at all. This is simply what I'm personally going to try and do, right? So get yourself a ledger, right? Get yourself a ledger. It is not worth keeping your assets on an exchange. Get it off, get it on cold storage. And yeah, definitely start using that to your advantage. But that's Bitcoin. And I'm pretty much going to be using this as my index. Once Bitcoin bottoms out, you can start loading up on the altcoins, do your own research, do your own due diligence, and go from there. ADA, I'm looking at ADA, I'm looking at Chainlink, I'm looking at Tron. Tron has had this massive spike. I'm not sure if this was on all exchanges, but there was rumors that, I'm not sure if this is going through now or not after FTX filed for bankruptcy. However, there was a rumor that Justin Sun, Tron CEO, was going to be assisting or trying to bail out FTX. So a Tron holder would be able to then exchange the assets that they had on FTX one for one on another platform. So obviously everyone took this for face value and thought, fine, let's try and become a Tron holder, buy Tron. This is obviously shot price massively through the roof. I'm not sure if this is e-liquid price action. I'm not sure if price actually spiked there on exchanges. I'll have to take a look myself. But yeah, FCT not looking great at all. Looking on the monthly time frame, something that rallied thousands of percent, all of a sudden was backed by nothing, backed by its own token. Like, it's just numbers on a screen. So very, very uncertain times indeed. Down 98%. I know a lot of people that made money on the whole Luna 2.0. I think if there is an FTT 2.0, I think it may be worth a punt. It may be worth, you know, chucking a couple grand in, see what happens. Sort of environment, obviously very, very high risk, gambler mentality. So I wouldn't recommend it at all. But yeah, FTT, them going bankrupt and them filing for bankruptcy, there being a hack right now is not great for the crypto community. So Bitcoin, still further downside to come. If you trying to dollar cost average and not look at current market price, your current P&L, look on the monthly time frame. Monthly time frame on Bitcoin, honestly, is so clean, right? I know now it's not great looking at it, down 70%, but this is why you abide by a simple buy low, sell high analogy to save yourself trauma, right? Literally, whether you're trading FX, cryptos, equities, buy low, sell high. You should not be exposed to the market after these big runs and these big rallies, these big declines. Allow the market to settle, do what you gotta do. But for me, I still see another 40% drop on Bitcoin before I start averaging in, but we have time, loads of time. Don't rush, trade safe. But that's it from me, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you're still watching, thank you very much. Join the Discord below. I hope to see you on the live sessions. Do like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.